Although I've always been an ambitious guy who wanted to improve in his life, I struggled with getting the tasks done. I struggled with doing that what was necessary. I'd sit here spending my evenings overthinking, is this even for me? Am I just doomed to fail? Am I not meant to achieve success? It doesn't matter what I did. It always felt like something was wrong and I wanted to give up. It was hard. It was painful. And as a result, I doubted myself. But I've learned over the years that the reason behind of this is that I was doing effectively something wrong. I was focusing on the wrong desires, on the wrong goals, not doing the things that I was actually supposed to be doing. Throughout that entire journey, I was just insecure and filled with doubt. There was a time that I wanted to be an artist, and I genuinely thought that I was going to become the greatest artist that was going to come out of Belgium, that I was going to take over the entire world with my music, that I was making such inspirational music that was going to change the entire thought pattern of how people thought, but I didn't. I'm making YouTube videos right now. And for many years, I thought that music was going to be the right thing for me. And so I tried my best to work on it, to invest my time into getting up, writing songs, recording music, mixing music, and doing my best to release them. I haven't released a lot of music. There was a lot of resistance always when it came to releasing my music. Partially that was because of fear. At least that's what I thought. I thought that fear was the reason for me to not release the music. But apparently it wasn't. Apparently the reason for me to not release the music that I wanted to release was because deep down I knew that that was not the right thing for me. Yet I had thought that the vision that I had for music was the thing for me to do, and to then acknowledge that it's not would eventually lead me to being lost in my life. It would then eventually lead me to feeling unfulfilled, to feeling like I'm not making any sort of progress. Every time that I made music, I felt insecure. I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like it wasn't really amounting to something, but I thought that it was a limiting belief that I had. The reason why I wanted to make music was so that I could fulfill a need that was inside of me, which was to be acknowledged. You know, when I was a kid, 8 years old, I saw Green Day on television. And seeing Green Day on television and then looking them up on YouTube and seeing that they have a lot of fans and people come to their shows, like it's sold out shows in the UK and whatever, like stadiums filled with fans who love Green Day, who come specifically for them. I was amazed by that. I fell in love with the idea of having a lot of people who love you because I didn't feel like I was loved. I didn't feel like I was acknowledged. And so that idea stuck into my mind that, oh, music will get me to be acknowledged. So I was trying to fulfill this desire of wanting to be acknowledged, that it led me down a path of wanting to make music. But eventually, over time, I saw that I wasn't fulfilled with doing it. I wasn't fulfilled with making music. I wasn't fulfilled with that journey. Because it wasn't coming from a place of authenticity. It was coming from a place of being desperate, of being needy, of lacking something and hoping that I would get it from that. Maybe I just needed a couple of people around me who would genuinely acknowledge me. Maybe I should start acknowledging myself and my hard work and the way that I am, instead of needing somebody else to acknowledge that for me. And so for many years of my life, I was 8 years old. The moment that I stopped working on music was when I was 26. I don't know about you, but that's a long time of being lost, basically, of not doing the right thing. And I was afraid to give that up because I knew that I would end up being lost. And so I did end up being lost. But I eventually found myself. I found myself because I acknowledged something that was deep inside of me that was holding me back from growing. And because I was able to do that and to disassociate myself from it. I was able to become driven. And that didn't happen in 1, 2, 3 because I had to ask myself then, wait, what is it that I then want to do? As time passed by, the idea of YouTube started to come into my mind to just be a public speaker. That is something that I've always wanted to do, but I was afraid of doing that. I was afraid of doing that because I thought that my speaking skills weren't so good. I thought that I didn't have the skill to convey a message properly. I didn't think that my storytelling skills were so good. I didn't think that people would actually even listen to me, listen to what I'm saying. So the fear of that has held me back for a very long time. So I didn't take action. And so I didn't also develop the skill to be able to do this. But eventually, I had no other option. I'd given up music, and YouTube kept popping into my mind. Alright, I started recording YouTube videos. And now after months of doing that, with resistance that was popping up into my mind, the thought of the past that was telling me like, oh, you're not good enough, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. I ignored it as much as possible. I didn't allow it to destroy me. I kept pushing, and now I'm seeing patterns in my life that have always been guiding me towards this path. When I think back to when I was making music, I always wanted to convey a message. I always wanted to talk about deep things. I always wanted to eventually build my career up of being an artist, to then stand on a stage and spread a very powerful message to people. That is something that I wanted, genuinely. That's something that I've always wanted as a kid, to have a voice. What's so funny is that every time that I wanted to be an artist, I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up because I felt like it wasn't the right thing for me. I thought that discipline was going to be the issue. I thought that I need to improve my willpower. And so I did. I focused on those aspects. I did improve it, that I now got a very good level of what discipline, what being disciplined is and how to use it to my advantage. But no matter how much of discipline I used, it was never enough. And so I thought I was coming short in my journey of becoming the greatest version of myself and reaching the goal that I wanted to reach. But now with YouTube, it's completely different. I almost have to implement no discipline. I almost need no willpower. That's quite funny, isn't it? I thought that discipline and willpower was the problem. I have those skills in my repertoire, in my CV, so to say. But I'm not using them. I'm not using them because talking to people is a thing that I automatically already enjoy and love. Something that I'm passionate about, something that I would want to do for the rest of my life. To convey a powerful message to a crowd of people. To be a thinker, to be more of a philosopher, so to say. And to express my thoughts and to express the concepts that I have in my mind of how I view the world and how you should live as a human, as a man. It doesn't feel like I'm putting in effort. Of course, there are challenges that appear, and that is when I implement discipline in order to keep myself on track, but I'm not continuously implementing discipline, which I was when I was making music. Every task that I did of music required a lot of discipline. Recording these videos doesn't require any discipline at all. I'm just here, standing, being one, flowing. Sometimes fear does appear. Sometimes the old ideas of myself come. And that is when I then also have to implement discipline. But the thing that I want to say is that discipline was never the issue. It's not that I was lacking discipline. I was just lacking clarity on what it is that I wanted to do. And throughout everything in my life, there was always this pattern, but I ignored it. I ignored it when it was so obvious. I'm a person who never could have a normal conversation. Never. Every time that I got into a conversation with somebody, it would end up in a very deep talk. And they'd realize just something very deeply and they thank me for it. It didn't feel like I was putting in any effort. I just enjoyed doing it. And it happened naturally. So every time that I talk to people who are on the same level as me when it comes to the way of viewing the world or just ambitious people, things like these just happen naturally. And that has always been the case in my life. For some reason, I ignored it. Was it fear? Was it resistance? Maybe. But perhaps my emotions when it came to acknowledgement, the trauma, so to say, that I had, a feeling that I wasn't good enough, was holding me back. So perhaps you are currently in this situation where you don't know what it is that you have to do, or you think that what you want to do is the right thing. You'd be surprised to find out that the thing that you desire right now may be influenced by either your environment or by a fear or lack of something that you have in your life. So, in order to overcome that, just take a moment to disassociate from everything and everybody. Take a step back. Because this is what a lot of people fail to do. This is what I failed to do. I failed to sit by myself and to listen to my thoughts. I failed to just be the witness of everything that is happening in my mind and around me. So when I excluded around me from my mind, and I just took notice of everything that my mind was telling me and where it was leading me to, eventually, I found the answer. Did it come instantly? No. Sometimes you will have to act before you know what it is that you have to do. But there will be a hint of something that you could do. You have to act on that hint. That hint, especially when it feels logical and it feels right, do it. Because that is intuition. Intuition will never lead you down a path where you will feel afraid and insecure. Intuition will lead you down a path. It will give you a hint of something that seems so obvious. You can't explain why, but it feels right. You have to act on it. You have to acknowledge that what you're experiencing can change your life. And then when you will want to make that decision, that is when fear and resistance starts to come in. Well, actually, it's mainly resistance, but resistance will come in the form of fear, because resistance never shows itself fully. Because if you know that you are simply holding yourself back, then you think that's stupid and you'd make that decision. So resistance comes in the form of fear. It comes in the form of doubt. It comes in the form of insecurity, so that it can lead you astray before you make that decision. And what's so interesting about resistance, when you eventually overcome it in that one area, in that one decision you'll have to make, and you do that oftentimes in that same area, resistance will notice that, oh fuck, I have no power over this guy. So it will start manifesting itself into a different decision, into the next step that you'll have to take. And this will be a continuous pattern that you will be in. But you always have to recognize and self-reflect that what you're experiencing may very well be resistance. I struggled with letting go of music because of resistance, because the excuses that my mind was telling me is that you worked your entire life on this and now you want to give it up? Just push it through. You will make it happen. Or you're giving up too soon. You will be lost if you do this. Oh, people will laugh at you. People will think that you're a fool. That's how resistance will manifest itself in your life. And you think those things to be right because it sounds rational. It's logical. But it's not. It really isn't. So there may be a decision that you want to make that will be very beneficial in your life, but there's a lot of emotions linked to it. It may most likely be the right decision for you to make, because this decision has allowed me to become so driven that I don't want to give up anymore. Knowing that this is the right path for me has given me peace of mind, has given me confidence. And that allows me to push forward in ways that I've never pushed forward. I've never been so consistent in my life as I am today. When before I was self-sabotaging my journey of wanting to become an artist. There was always something that I ended up doing that eventually led me to ruin my momentum. But now, that doesn't really happen. And I want the same for you. I want you to be able to do that, and that's why I'm making this video. If you want to connect with me, go down to the comment section or click the first link in the description box. And while you're there, let's work together. And I'll help you to manage your emotions, to make better decisions, and live up towards your greatest self. And finally overcome that resistance that is stuck in your life and holding you back. You may not even be aware that it is resistance, but that's where we have to start, with becoming aware. I want to wish you a very nice day. I hope this video has been of value for you. And always remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.